Oh gosh, so much has been happening over the past week, so let's get into it, I guess. I really don't know what my hair is doing today. I don't really wear it down anymore, and so it gets all these crinks in it from being in a bun, and I just don't know what's happening. First of all, I'm really glad that it is a beautiful day today. The weather has been getting more gorgeous. Obviously, I'm outside literally as much as I possibly can be because nature is just so important for my mental health. Sunlight is so important for my mental health. My cats, unfortunately, are inside, but they are also really important for my mental health. So I kind of have to balance like being outside, but then obviously when it gets dark or cold out, I spend time with them inside. But yeah, that's the one thing is that, you know, other than Wink and Wave, who are our stray feral cats who get to spend time outside, but they don't really hang out here much during the day. And yeah, so I really miss my indoor cats. I feel like I look like I work at like Culver's or something. I love that restaurant in the Midwest because they have hats like this, and then my hair is just kind of doing its own thing. I don't know, it's just giving a vibe. So let's get into the updates. So a lot of new symptoms in the past week. Last week we were talking about the dysautonomia symptoms that got a lot worse, the heaviness on my chest, and that's not gone away. It feels so much better when I like lean forward, but obviously that's not a very comfortable position to be in for long periods of time. I also speak a lot faster because I try to talk as much as I can to get as many words out as I can before I lose my air. I don't know if that's a great strategy, that's just what my body naturally does, but I've definitely noticed I'm breathing a lot shallower since we got COVID. I don't know if we got COVID or not. We never had a positive test. My dad never had a positive test, but he was with someone who had a positive test, and we had the same symptoms as my dad did, and he thinks he had COVID. So he actually went to see my doctor, and our doctor, I guess, said that she thinks that there's multiple strains going around, one that does give a positive and one that doesn't on the rapid test. And so, or maybe on all tests, I don't know. My dad didn't clarify with the doctor, which would have been great to know. But my doctor's theory is that my dad and my mom and I all got one specific strain that didn't show positive. So who knows? It's really hard to know, but obviously my mom and I are still recovering from it. Who knows how long it'll take to recover, even just for like normal social interactions, like going to a doctor's appointment or going to PT or hanging out with my dad. I really have to ramp it up into the fight or flight because I'm so exhausted still, and I still have that chest pressure and also increased chest pain too. So anyway, that really sucks to be back to square one, it feels like, with the dysautonomia symptoms getting a lot worse. So that is the update on those symptoms. I also started having lower abdominal pain later last week. Maybe it started on Wednesday. And it honestly feels like the ovulation pain that I was having last year because of my endometriosis. And I have it every 4 weeks on the dot. I think one was a couple days before, but normally it was exactly every 4 weeks. Went to the ER twice last year for it before we knew what it was. So it's excruciating pain. It feels like someone, these are the two ways I describe it. It's super sore, so it feels like someone's taken like a meat, what are those called? It's not a meat mallet, it's not a meat hammer, but you know, those hammers that you like smack meat with, and just done that all over my like abdominal area, or just uppercutted me a bunch in my abdominal area. Or the other descriptor I use is that someone has taken what you use to scrape out the inside of a pumpkin and just done that around my abdominal area. So really feels really painful, very awful. At least I think I know what it is this time. I've kept track in my calendar, and I haven't had the ovulation pain since probably November, and that was because I started taking a really intense hormonal medication to completely stop ovulation. However, if it was to follow the same schedule, last week would have been on Tuesday. I started having the pain kind of on Wednesday, Thursday, would have been the week that I would have had it. So one theory is that the excruciating pain I'm now in is from the ovulation pain, or two, you know, the endometrial injections that I've been getting to treat endometriosis and the little implants under my skin, that could be helping to shrink the endometrial tissue, and it could be giving me excruciating pain while it's doing that. I don't know. I'm gonna be seeing my endo doctor in a couple of weeks, and I think we'll get more information then, but it has been incredibly painful. Another endo update is that I got my second endometriosis injection last Friday, but I was starting to have pain before that. But obviously that doesn't help because you get a tiny rice-sized capsule injected under your skin. So if you didn't watch my last video on it, they take 2 lidocaine shots and they basically go like under your skin, and then they just like go like this to make sure the whole area is numb with a needle. So they're poking the needle everywhere with lidocaine, and then they do that twice, and then they take a massive needle that has to hold something the size of a grain of rice, and it's spring loaded, and they spring load that under the skin of your stomach. So obviously I have a massive bruise still from that. If you want to see the bruise, what it looks like, you can go to the first video I did on it, because it's pretty much the same type of bruise. The first time they did it on the like right side of my belly button. This time they did it on the left side, which was really interesting and good, I think, to like space it out so that it's not just one side that's being bombarded every month, once a month, with these shots. But yeah, definitely that whole area is really stressed, and I used to take ibuprofen for the pain, 800 milligrams, but that really messed up my stomach hugely, like absolutely massively. And so I'm not doing that anymore because I cannot afford, like even just taking it for my shoulder like a month ago, my stomach is still trying to recover and go back to it how it normally is, which normally it's not even that great, honestly. Yeah, it just really messes up my whole digestive tract, and we're trying to get that back on track. So that whole thing has been incredibly stressful to try figuring out, like, how do I manage the pain? Nothing really helps last time other than ibuprofen. I can't take that, so I've been kind of trying like aspirin and stuff like that to see if that helps. So it's just a lot of trial and error, but it's just kind of constant pain and discomfort and these new symptoms that happen. It just sucks, you know? Your body is not meant to be in constant pain. That's not normal, and so it's really exhausting on top of everything else. And another stressor, well, when my body gets super stressed, like everything that's been going on, and I kind of referenced it in the last video, but there's other just stressful outside factors that I'm also dealing with currently as well, and that's just taking literally 100% of my capacity to deal with all of that plus my health stuff. But I'm definitely having what I think is a stress response when I get really stressed. I get almost like hives. They're not hives though. I don't know if it's like a skin infection, but I get really itchy, even more itchier than normal. I do have normally itchy skin that I take meds for, but it's like across my stomach, just this like red, itchy, little bumpy rash that I think is stress related, but I don't know. I had this a couple of months ago, and I went on an antibiotic for it and it cleared it up. So I don't really know what to do. I don't really want to go on another antibiotic right now because I want to, you know, give the endometriosis injection its full shot and not take anything else new during this time, because I get so many side effects from things that I don't want to start another med and be like, oh, is the new side effect from this new med I started, or is it from the endometrial med that I also recently started? So it's just so complicated and stressful. But something fun was that my dad took me to Fair Hill, and we didn't go on a walk because I cannot walk. I just do not have the energy to walk very far, but my dad carried some little folding chairs or like outdoor chairs, and we went down and sat by the little creek that goes through there, and it was just so beautiful. This park is just my favorite park in the whole world, and we saw some kingfishers flying by. It was really nice to be like in nature and next to the creek there. We saw a pileated woodpecker, saw some other little birds. There was like a little tiny house finch. I think it was a house finch. It was like the really small finch, and it came up like 3 feet in front of us. It was like really curious. So it was just really fun. Like, we brought some little snacks, so I was eating my carrots and just, you know, really enjoying being by the water. And there were a lot of people walking their dogs because it was a beautiful day. And so we saw this cutest corgi ever. It didn't have a docked tail, so it had a long tail, which was super fluffy and cute. It was a very fluffy corgi. I really wanted to go pet it, but it was on the other side of the creek, so it's fine, we let it walk by. But just a bunch of dogs out. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's the huge excitement in my life, is doing something like that, because I just have no energy to do really much of anything. So like I will pretty much wake up in the morning, get dressed, be exhausted, then have to get up the energy to get breakfast, which is literally just microwaving something and gathering something else. So sometimes my mom helps me with that. And then, you know, usually I have like a doctor's appointment or something, or recording this, filming and editing this will take up the whole day of my energy. And a lot of days like after, so like tomorrow, I will crash because I have this and then I also have PT and I will just be crashing. So, you know, very little capacity, very little energy to do anything these days. Maybe, hopefully someday something will change, but the biggest highlight from going to the park yesterday was seeing a cat. I know, very exciting. I have a picture. It was the cutest cat. We have been driving by the barns that are there on the parkland that are actually privately owned. They have horses and stuff, and it says like you can't touch or feed the horses, but they always have this picture of the barn cat named Barney that's there, and they have her little bio, and it's the cutest thing, and it's like, please don't take Barney. She has a really good life here. She likes living here, but this is Barney. And it was really funny because yesterday we pulled up next to the barn from the car, and we were like reading her bio again because we just read it every time because she's just the cutest little thing, but we'd never met her before. And then above it, my dad was like, oh my God, I think she died, because there was a little plaque and it said like there was a date to 2022, and I was like, oh my God. And the name started with the B, and I was like, I just read it quickly and I was like, oh my God, my heart sunk because I got so attached to this cat that I'd never met before, but I'd read her bio and seen her picture every time we drove past. I was like so upset, and then I looked and there was a cat, and I was like, oh my God, no, she's still alive. So I jumped out of the car. My dad like hadn't even put it in park yet. Jumped out of the car, went over, started petting her. Oh, she was a love bug. But the funny part was that it was Bailey who had died, who I'm assuming was a horse because it was like 88 to 2022. So that's too old for a cat to have lived 34 years. So it was really dramatic because we both thought she had died because we read it really fast. But no, Barney was still alive. We had the most adorable bonding session. I now love this cat, and I want to visit her every time I go. I might even bring a little brush because she was just so soft and she loved being pet, and it was so much fun. She kept walking into the road though, and so I actually picked her up and carried her back off the road, which she let me do, which was, I felt very honored. Some barn cats don't like being picked up, but she was just the softest cat you will ever meet, and so sweet, and loved being pet, and was just following me around. I could see why someone would want to take her home because she was like following us to the car, and I was like, no, this is your home, go back. But that was definitely the highlight of my week. And then just being able to like sit outside and stuff has been really, really nice. So I'm exhausted. I need to go get my breath back because I've been shallow breathing, but I'm gonna go edit this, and I need to go to PT today, which I haven't been to for 2 weeks because we had that COVID exposure. So yeah, time to get back to it, I guess, but fingers crossed that PT isn't too exhausting. That's my most nervous thing, is that they're, you know, they do exercises with you. Last time was just a massage though, so I'd like that again. So we'll see. Hope you're having a fabulous day, and I will talk to you soon, my friends. Bye.